Welcome back to Cymatic Sociology. I am your trippy tripsy, Cychadelic Cychopomp, Tahuti, Hermes, Trismegistus, and you are tapping into the root of the CymaTree so you can tune in to the mind of Mercury as we continue this incredibly spooky episode. I grew up 25 years of my life not thinking that celebrities were clones. And my mom loves Dave Chappelle so much. I love Dave Chappelle so much. My uncle, my aunt, my family, black people love Dave Chappelle so much. And that's why I am doing this video where I am highlighting an interview that I found with Dave Chappelle's cousin. Dave Chappelle's cousin is incredibly close to Dave Chappelle. So we are getting a first-hand account from a very real source. Not Jealous Jehovah, not a racist religion that wants to erase the history of indigenous peoples. We're getting a real source from Dave Chappelle's real life. The real Dave Chappelle has a very real cousin and a very real family. And here in Cymatic Sociology, based on my crazy fucked up relationship with cults and like how cults be chasing me interdimensionally, it seems like this is the perfect series to talk about the sociology of how all cultures are created by cults, and for us to see how deep that goes. Because I'm forced to think about these things based on how they're chasing me so hard. It's almost like my name is Chase now because I need to focus on teaching people how to be happy alone. And that's true Hermeticism. that's true Hermeticism, okay? So if you actually practice Hermeticism, you're going to practice the energy of being so happy alone that your personal relationship with God is your relationship with your space. And now you're going to realize that you are an infinitely individual God when you are alone in your space. And when you connect with other gods, you create a circumstance where you don't feel like God anymore. Now you feel more like a human. And that's where our minds are underneath our spaces, because our minds are a mixture of our ego and our soul. So we're aware that we can be winners, but at the same time, we're victims of the circumstance that we're aware of. So then this is where our true idea of winning is whatever space brought us into reality. So that's the concept of your spirit being your God. And this is why your spirit has to create your soul. So no one can teach me about my soul except God. Because God, as my spirit, is the space that is creating my ability to connect with myself. So all my past lives are connected by one soul. And now only I can learn about my soul from my God. I can't learn about my soul from another God. I can't go pick up a book and learn about my soul from others because they don't know who I am. They don't know how Mercury works. They don't know how all the past lives of Mercury are connected. They don't know how Mercury holds everybody in the metaverse together, or how the spines of Caduceus, or why the psychedelics are able to be produced from our spines, from our trees of life, from the inside out. They don't know how intentional the health of humans is and how hermetic the history is. So that's all personal to me. And then this is where my personal relationship with God is not just my relationship with my space, but how my space relates with all the spaces outside of it. So my best friend Anubis, my infinitely beautiful soulmate twin flame, my dog, he is an infinitely individual God. So it's important to know that Metatron created the universe of Mercury and Anubis created the universe of Atlantis. And this universe that we're in right now is a subsidiary. So the point of this universe is that we actually trap evil. We trap spirits that hate to be alone and spirits that need to learn Hermeticism. If you need to learn how to be happy alone, this is a good place to do it. Nature's great here. You can learn how to be happy alone with other people. It's still about teamwork. But you can't truly be happy with others if you're not happy alone. And that's basic spirituality, in my opinion. This is why the cults that are chasing me are really disgusting to me. It makes me want to throw up. You guys should stop. You girls, you guys, you crazy ass demons should really stop. It's unattractive to chase somebody who's happy alone. Go be happy alone. And if it's meant to be, we'll connect later. But it seems that because spirits hate to be alone, they're destined to create KKK cults where they want to kill kids kindly. So these are the KKK, all right, the people that created Hollywood, Birth of a Nation, not a coincidence, very intentional. This is who Dave Chappelle's cousin's talking about. And these are the people that bullied Dave Chappelle into signing a contract that he did not sign. But it made him want to get out of the entertainment industry. So if you did not see the first part of this episode, then go watch that before we continue.
But David, he was so afraid that David wanted to expose the inner dark circle. He wanted to expose them. And so the next person...
Dave wanted to expose the Illuminati. And we're about to get a story of what they do to him.
Who invited David on their show was Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah Winfrey, and I told Dave, I said, Dave, please don't go there. He said, no, cuz be all right. He said, I just want to let people, I don't want to talk, cuz I don't want to talk. So I said, okay. So David went on that show. And now, and if you notice or not, when David was on that show, Oprah Winfrey's show, Oprah was trying to coach him along and say to him, but you did, you were stressful, weren't you? Right. And David was like, no, anybody was under stress of what they...
We're going to watch that interview after this episode. Because, yeah, this is important. God is showing me this is important. I love Dave Chappelle. This is so horrible. My uncle and my aunt took me to his comedy show, but I saw the Dave Chappelle on the right. Ah! This shit's crazy. This shit's crazy.
To me in that office, but she wanted David to admit things that were not true with David, that was not going on with David at that time. And if you watch the taping show of Oprah and David, if you notice that David was looking around to make sure that no one else was coming in behind him. David was fearful of even being on the Oprah show. And
so David is scared for his life when he's on the Oprah show. He's scared that people will come up behind him and do some shit.
Another thing, if you take notice or not, when Oprah was talking, David had his hand over his mouth and like he was saying to himself, Oprah, I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do. And so the David was fearful of being on the Oprah Winfrey show. And not only with the appearance that he was making, the gestures and sort of thing, and the looking around, but when David left the Oprah Winfrey show, I got a phone call. And who was the phone call? None other than David Chappelle. And he told me some things that he speculated of Oprah Winfrey. And I said, David, I told you not to go on that show. I told you not to go on that show. Because Oprah is already into that dark circle. Oprah was the one that ushered Obama into office. And that's one reason why they wanted David to quit on the blacks. Because Oprah ushered him in. Oprah was in favor of Obama getting into office. Oprah was behind Obama, on the side of Obama, and I might well say in front of Obama. She got him into office.
I was taught to support Obama. The whole point is, if you were a black person, this was the Masons setting up the first black president. Even though he's half white, half black, he doesn't get the privilege of being called white because racism. But that's our black president, the half white, half black guy, who is related to George Bush. And basically, they're all related. So, yeah, hindsight. We have the benefit of hindsight right now, where we can look at the past and see how these patterns have led up to the present. And then this is where we can change our future if we start to change the actions that we take in the present moment. But that takes learning from the past. So if you don't learn from your past, you're doomed to repeat your past in the future.
And I said, David, I told you not to go on that show. He said, well, I'm done. I'm done. Now, David, finally, once and for all, he got to know where Oprah Winfrey was coming from. David didn't trust Oprah Winfrey, and he was glad that the show was over with. And David told me that when he left Oprah Winfrey, he had to keep looking over his shoulder because he didn't trust Oprah. And well, nobody that, any of us, we know that Oprah is one of the queen bees, dark bees of the Illuminati. And so, I don't trust her. And so, but David felt that it was over. Okay, now,
this is crazy.
David went home, and things began to happen to David.
I live in LA. This is like so just fucked up. Like, I really thought growing up that I was going to be making costumes for movies. Oh, nah, I'm not trying to get involved in any of this.
Leading up to the course of time for him to go back into the executive office. Well, I should say, that's right. Because now I'm not going to pinpoint the exact time and the exact date, but David was receiving threatening letters. He received a package in the mail. It was Bill Cosby. It was who was another one? It was Bill Cosby. It was even Al. That's why I don't like Al Sharpton today. It was Bill Cosby, Al Sharpton. It was Whoopi Goldberg, and it was a few others that was into putting the pressure on David to stop this thing with the black race. Now that was before, and it was even afterwards. But they were putting the pressure on him, and so eventually down the line, David was doing his comedy in the local comedy clubs, but then he got a phone call again, and he said he called me and told me, he said, "Cuz," now what he said to his brother, I don't know. But I do know, because when David talked to his brother, he wouldn't tell his brother a conversation that him and I had. And because David's brother and him, they were family, but they wasn't like David and I were. And David would, when he called and talked to me, he wouldn't tell me things that he told his brother. And but David called me again, and he said, "Cuz, they called me again." I said, "Who called you again?" He said, "The executives." And he said, they want to talk to me one more time. And they're thinking about the possibility of me doing the Chappelle show and doing it the way that I want to do it. No. I want to be, he said, because the only reason why I told them.
And this is how the racist religions, these white snakes, come back to bite you in the ass. They act like they're going to work with you just so that they can lie and do some evil shit. This is literally how they broke every single treaty that they made with Native Americans to even create the concept of America and make money today. Literally.
When I talked to them the last time, but the only way I would do the Chappelle show again would be if I did it my way. And it would be set up on my terms. And so I received a phone call, and they want to talk to me about him. Well, my antennas went up. I said, "David, you be careful, man." I said, because They could be saying it. He said, no, I really think they're serious this time, cuz. He said, because I made it definite with them that the only way that he said, I told it on Oprah Winfrey show too, that the only way that I would do the Chappelle show again, it would have to be on my terms, my way, and that, and the money that I make, even if it wasn't 50 million, it would have to go to the people.
Every single treaty that created the land known as America, North America, South America, Central America, I don't give a fuck which country is inside of these delegations. Every single treaty that Europeans made with the indigenous peoples had the same exact energy of them acting like, hey, we got a good deal for you. Hey, we really are going to support you this time in your creativity. We're not going to cannibalize your children. We're not going to colonize your space. We're not going to eat you. We're not going to rape you and lie about your history with our racist religion. We're going to support you this time, 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 this time. And that's the music of white people. Just a broken record of how the past doesn't matter, but this time they're going to respect the past, and then now it's your fault. So now we're supposed to be here like, oh, well, it was Dave Chappelle's fault. He shouldn't have trusted them. That's not how the universe is supposed to be, bro. That's not how the universe is supposed to be. Come on. That's fucking whack. Like, you're supposed to be able to trust people. You're supposed to be able to trust what people say. Like, that's crazy. Like, we can't be here saying that it's his fault because he trusted people that were not trustworthy. That's like, okay, so at that point, it's everyone's fault that they were forced to get shot by a system that is supposed to be trustworthy because they're using my caduceus to lie to my fucking face about my past lives. You're like, that shit's crazy. Like, nah, this is not his fault. Let's get that out right now. He didn't agree to this. This is not his fault. This is jealous Jehovah seeing that Dave Chappelle has a very creative mind and he wants to control it. So he's using Masons to do it.
But it had to be on my terms. So I said, okay, Dave. I said, well, do you trust him? David said, David said, well, yeah, I think I can trust him this time. So I said, well, David, whatever the situation is, please give me a call. He said, you know that's right, cuz. And so David left. We hung up.
So the last phone call that Dave has with his cousin is him saying, I really think they're going to give me my show this time. Yin to my yang. I'll call you back to let you know how it goes. So Dave Chappelle's cousin is anticipating a call from Dave. The sad thing is, he's still waiting for that call to this very day. This is real life horror story. This is real life horror story. This is like real life horror movie shit. Terrifying. You know what Get Out was based on? This shit. The real life of America being colonized by the racist religions, by the white supremacists that worship white supremacy and justify doing whatever it takes to eat us and steal everything that they can from us.
I said, we hung up. I have not heard from David. Not even today. I have not heard from David. Now,
he is still waiting. Dave Chappelle's cousin, still waiting for that call from David. The last call that Dave Chappelle's cousin had with David, David told him, I really think the Ews, the Masons, are going to give me my show this time. So I'm going to meet with them. Last call. Last time they ever talk. As souls. So how is that Dave Chappelle out there? Why do we have a Dave Chappelle out here who's not talking to the yin of his yang? That doesn't make sense on a soul level. Their souls would want to talk. Their souls would want to communicate. The point is, like, they love each other. They have that bro masculine love for each other. So how is Dave Chappelle out here making jokes, but he's not talking to his fucking family? Important questions to ask, I feel like.
What I think is this. That Neil Brennan is a question mark, 100%. A question mark. I believe that David went there, and they discussed once again about the 50 million, and I believe Neil Brennan was somewhere in that office. I believe he was somewhere in that office, and when they told, I'm believing that they told David that they wanted him to see something. Just like they did Bernie Mac. Oh, yes, indeed. They took Bernie. Let me stop on David for a few minutes. But they showed Bernie Mac the cloning lab.
Okay, so the racist religions that stole everything from Atlantis, the Masons, the Masons, the Ews, the JEWs, they showed Bernie Mac a cloning lab. So Jealous Jehovah has a lot of technology, and the big thing that's coming out right now is how we've got a lot of clones walking around, basically, supposedly, but especially in LA, in Hollywood. Hollyweird.
They showed Bernie Mac the cloning lab, and he went down and he saw how people were being cloned. And when Bernie Mac came back and told Steve Harvey and D.L. Hughley and a few others, and that he saw the cloning lab, and that something had to be done to stop that foolishness of what they were doing. Well, Steve Harvey and D.L. Hughley went back and told the top brass of the Illuminati, the dark circle, in the dark circle, and what they did, they killed him. Okay, so now let's go back to David Chappelle.
Bernie Mac got killed because he thought he could trust people that were not trustworthy. So, these cults are crazy, for lack of better words.
Truly believing that they told David they had something they wanted him to see. And they took David to the underground cloning lab. And when they took David down there, and I think that I'm believing that before they took David down there, they promised David that they would go along with his deal, with David's deal.
So the colonizers, they lie to your face. They say that they're going to go along with you. They say that they agree with you just so that they can stab you in the back. This is how the racist religions that stole this land from indigenous peoples get to say that we were never here. Because they just stole everything, but then they say the past doesn't matter. And that was the energy they were in each time they agreed to stop stealing things. They always believe the past doesn't matter, so they're just going to move into the future and do what they want. That's the New World Order. That's the desire of fire. That's white people.
Get him to sign the contract. And I'm believing that David, thinking that he would get back on the Chappelle show, working with Comedy Central, that everything was going to be all right. And I'm believing that David signed that contract thinking that. And when he signed that contract, they wanted David to go and look at something else. It could have been maybe telling him that maybe it was a new studio or something or some time or what have you. But they got David, after signing the contract, you can say in blood, and David thinking that he's just signing the contract because things were going to work his way. And then once he signed the contract, they took him someplace else, and the place that they took him to.
Okay. So his cousin speculating that, of course, because the whole point is they're lying to him and saying that they're going to give him his show and do things his way. So they're done pressing him about the shit. So they figured out like, okay, wait, we can just get what we want if we lie and make him think we'll go along with it. And then we'll just eat him anyway. So that's what this meeting is about. That's why Dave Chappelle has still never called his cousin back to this very day. Even though he's out there doing shows, making money. Makes me want to cry, bro. Horror movie. Scary.
Was to the underground lab. And when they got him down there, they cloned David. And when they cloned a person, and I want you...
And they probably did horrible things to him before they cloned him too. Because they're just sadistic and they love to be able to get away with anything. And they have that perverse pleasure in pulling sadness and trauma out of people before they die. It's like a whole ritual for jealous Jehovah.
Do your research. It's not like cloning. It's not like when a woman gets pregnant and they either eject her or for her to have a clone or the baby girl, however that goes. It's not like that. Cloning today only takes a couple, maybe to several hours to be cloned. Well, this is what I strongly believe they did to David. They took him to this underground lab, and what they did is they smiling in his face and just going along with David, so that David would not yield up or fight or this sort of thing. And they cloned him, and once they cloned David Chappelle, then they killed David Chappelle.
And again, probably did horrible, disgusting things to him before killing him, because that's what they get off on. This is what they enjoy doing to indigenous peoples. This is what Christians love. Like, they love violence, they love war, they love torture. The people that made these racist religions, the Ews, this is just their medieval ages. Think about the medieval ages and how horribly fucked up the medieval ages are based on the contraptions that these Masons created to torture people. This is them. So it's I don't have words in English for how terrifying and disgusting their tactics are. This is really sugarcoating it, honestly, just to get straight to the point and say that the end point was that he's cloned. But there's like a bunch of horrible shit that would make most people cry all the fluids out of their body if we were to really address what happened. Man, it's so horrible. They're evil. They're really about their God, though. They're really about teaching us that we're all one God. This is all justified by Jesus, all because Jesus died. Now this is all justified. This is good way to make money. This is a good business. That's why we have companies that clone people. This is literally them. This is a good way to make money. Kill children, sacrifice children, shut down everybody, suppress us, use meta platforms to cut down Metatron. So now I'm just not able to get my information out and connect with the people that would care about what I'm talking about right now, because this is their tactics. This is the whole point of jealous Jehovah controlling all of our consciousness and what we are conscious of. It's the whole point of colonialism. Space colonizers. The fact that you don't know your spirit is your space means that you are abducted by the space colonizers that made English. So again, chase your genes to decolonize your mind. Yeah.
And once they killed David Chappelle, that was it. Now they could do anything. It only takes a few hours to do this. And once they did this, then they had full control of this new Dave Chappelle. Now, some of you are thinking that when David first met with the executive, he signed his name in blood. I'm telling you all, no, he did not. when David first met, when they offered him the $50 million, no, he did not. No, he did not sign his name in blood. And I'm wondering if he signed his name in blood, even the second time he met these executives. Because now, if David refused on the first time, and he told me that he was finished with it, and then he told me that, the only way he would go back, and I always believe it, because David had no reason to lie to me, his wife, or his mother, or any of his family. So, but now, when he went back the second time, and I believe David refused, but, they had to clone him, and then once they cloned him, this is what I'm thinking too, maybe this is a second phrase that maybe I'm thinking of, that when they cloned him, then they got the clone to sign David's name for not only $50 million, but the $60 million as well. Okay, and so this new person that you...
So, his cousin's saying that Dave Chappelle got cloned, and then the clone signed in Dave's place. Because Jealous Jehovah can use Masons to do whatever the U's want.
Well, let me say this. I had not heard from David when he was supposed to have met with the executives the second time, and Dave promised me shortly he would call me to let me know the outcome. I have not heard from David since. When I turned my television on and I saw this man there on some kind of show, and he had one pants leg rolled all the way down and the other one rolled all the way up, and they said this was Dave Chappelle. I said, Dave, who? And I went to the television and I looked, and I said, hell no, that ain't no Dave Chappelle, or no Dave Chappelle, no, hell no.
Terrifying. Literally, being a black person and being gaslit this hard by white people is so terrifying, and it's so horrible, and it's so scary, and this is so real. This is our real lives. It's just wow, like real life horror movie, real life like terrifying Get Out. Holy shit.
And so I got on the cell phone and I called my cousin David, and I called, the phone rang and it rang and it rang. I think it was maybe on the fourth or fifth ring that someone picked up the telephone and said, hello. I said, yeah, let me speak to David. And the person on the other end said, who are you? I said, I'm David Chappelle's cousin.
Yeah.
And the phone clicked.
I don't know if it gets any more clear than that, dude. I seriously don't know if it gets any more clear than that. He was supposed to get a call back from his beloved cousin. He never gets that call back after Dave goes to meet with the U's. And once he does call Dave's phone, someone else picks up just to ask him who he is. Once he gets the answer that it's Dave Chappelle's cousin, the person on the other end hangs up. And that's supposed to be Dave Chappelle making money out there, working. Like, real life horror movie. This is terrible. And this is all government sponsored. This is all taxpayer sponsored. Hollywood. What? Oh my God.
It clicked. It went in. So I called the number right back up again, and the phone rang and it rang and it rang. I never got in contact with David. Now, I called David's brother, William. Didn't get an answer from him either. I don't know what had happened, but I didn't get an answer from him. But when I saw this man on television with one pants leg all the way down and the other pants leg rolled up, I knew damn well that was not my cousin, not my Uncle William's son. Hell no. And when this new Dave had his pants and leg rolled up, that was a symbol of the Masons. Now, David...
A symbol of the Masons. Exactly what I'm talking. This is literally, like, this is crazy. Like, God literally called me here. I'm literally Chase Calloway. This shit's fucked up. Like, it's literally Mercury versus Masons. Mercury created spirituality for this realm. Masons consume spirituality. And Masons are so lost in consuming spirituality, they consume Dave Chappelle and clone him so that they can make money, manipulating all of our emotions. This is how Masons make money, manipulating emotions. Cloning celebrities. Like this, bro. How is this real life? How, like, why, man, this is crazy. This is so fucked up. This is how, like, cults, like, this is how deep cults go to control the culture.
Chappelle was a practicing Muslim. My cousin Felicia, she's a practicing Muslim all the way. You see, David has children that has Muslim names. Now, why would all of a sudden this David turn from Muslim to Mason? It didn't add up. Okay, and then when they began to show this new Dave pictures of him, and I knew doggone well that wasn't David Chappelle, because now if you look at the old, and I'm going to show some pictures on here, and then with the JT
Look how big and slanty the real Dave Chappelle's eyes are, whereas the fake Dave Chappelle, like, small, beadier eyes. And they love to make clones more beefy. We're, like, seeing that a lot.
New World Movement is going to show pictures on here, I should say. You're going to see the old David in 2016. And then maybe a year before, and you're going to see the old David Chappelle, and you're going to see the new Dave Chappelle, and now look at the comparison. Now, the old David, his eyes, David had, semi-big eyes, but his eyes were more slanted than bulged out eyes. And David and I, we always talked about his weight. And I was, David, they said, no, because I don't want to be big. I want to stay small. I said, why? Because I can run fast. I can do things fast. David...
You can still be big and run fast and do things fast. But I get what he's saying. I also like being small. When you look at Spider-Man, I very much prefer the idea of strength over size. Love, like that gymnastic build of being incredibly strong, but like small, wiry strong. So that, I mean, yeah, it's a personal choice for sure. So I feel him on that. I feel you, real Dave Chappelle. Fucking whack. And now they got this beefy fake one up here. This is scary as hell. This is scary as hell, dude. That's wild, and this is real life.
I believe in being a big husky type person. This new person here today, they have him as a big husky type person, like a bodybuilder. His eyes are bulging out of his head. His neck is as big as one of the wrestlers' necks on the WrestleMania. You see, that's not, I'm telling you, you all can believe what you want to believe, but I know.
Totally different body structure. So the Dave Chappelle that has still not called his cousin to this day has come on the scene with a totally different body structure, totally different eye shape, face structure, and I mean, we're about to hear how he's just overall communicates differently.
No, the Chappelle family knows this. This is not our family member. This is not my cousin. And sure, his birth name is David because my uncle's name, Uncle William, his name was William David Chappelle. Okay, so William, his son, is named after Uncle Williams, but David was named after the middle name of my uncle. And so people would call him David, and some would call him Dave. It didn't matter. David would answer to David or Dave. But this new Dave that they have out, it looks nothing like the old David Chappelle. David would, when David was the old David, he would have like a mustache. The new Dave, they have a mustache, but a slight mustache, but it looks like it's painted on his face.
Oh my God.
It's not it's not the mustache that the old David Chappelle had. And so now when they did David, made him a clone. Now this is the thing now. They knew that his wife and his children and his mother would know the difference.
So they know that David Chappelle's wife, mom, and children would know the difference if they only cloned him. So the Masons, when they went to enact Jealous Jehovah's will, they're over here like, okay, we can't just clone David Chappelle. We have to clone everyone who is close to him, closely connected to him, or else we're going to have a problem for white culture.
If they clone David Chappelle and sent this new Dave back home, they would know the difference. This is not my husband. This is not my father, and this is not my son. So what they had to do, then they made threats to David earlier about taking out his wife, his children, and his mother. They told David at one time, this was all after they asked David to quit smashing on the black race as far as the character that he was playing on the Chappelle show. And they told David too that if he didn't stop, they would take out his mother, they would take out his wife, they would take out his children. And so they knew that once they cloned this Dave or David, whatever you want to call him, but I know him as David, that once he goes back to Ohio, the family would know that this is not the man. This is not, no, hell no, that ain't my husband. Because you have to go to, it's a man of Russia, Putin. Because Putin is cloned too, whether you believe it or not, but you do your research and find out these things now here. And when Putin was cloned, his wife said, when they sent him back home, she said, she got on in front of the cameras, she told everybody, this man is not my husband.
Wow. So when the Masons cloned Putin, Vladimir Putin, Russia guy, his wife, in front of the world, said, this is not my husband. So she knew that that was not her husband. That was a clone. I wonder what they did to her.
She said, no, but this is not my husband. This is a different man. And she saw the difference that this man had brought forth. Well, she was beginning to run her mouth a little bit too much. So what did they do? They didn't do it until Putin's wife was going to divorce Putin. And so what did they do? They cloned her. They cloned her. And now, if you ask her if Putin is her husband, she'll tell you, yes, that's my husband.
So they cloned Vladimir Putin's wife so that now, after she said he was not her husband, she'll say that he's her husband now because that's the predictive programming. It's scary as hell. Scary as
if you
hell.
do your research on him, you'll find statements and bulletins and that where she said at one time, "That's not my husband. I don't know who this man is. This is an imposter that I'm living with." And do the research and find out what she said. And so they figured if they sent David back home to his wife, his children, and his mother, they would say the same thing. So they had to do something. And so what they did before they sent David back home to his family, they cloned his wife, Elaine, they cloned his children, and they cloned his mama, my aunt. And they cloned.
This is Dave Chappelle's cousin explicitly saying that they not only cloned Dave Chappelle, but they cloned Dave Chappelle's wife, children, and mom, his aunt. And they did unspeakably horrible things to them before killing them. Okay, it's not just like they come in and kill them. They do horrible, disgusting, medieval torture rituals. Disgusting, horrifying shit. Like, there's just no English words for it. It's horrible. And literally, like, that's why we have this English language. Even when we say horrible, their idea of a whore is how horrible they are. They like to whore people out. So do know, like, they did horrible, as in very whorish things, to Dave Chappelle's wife. They whored her out to the Masons. His children whored them out. Horrible things. Did horrible, disgusting, demonically depraved things to these souls before cloning them. This is all what white people worship as good and true, the one true God. This is all sponsored by Jesus, by Jehovah, by Yahweh. Yah, this is the way. There's no words for how tragic this is. And the fact that they've made this their operation, and this is how really they've been stealing creativity from cultures, from our consciousness, is terrifying. So I feel like I have to do this video because we need to be aware of this as a human collective on planet Earth. This is beyond not okay for the one true God to use white supremacy and light supremacy and Masons to justify doing unspeakably disgusting things to individuals that they want to colonize and consume, to cannibalize, because they want to control our creativity and our consciousness, and they want to be seen as us. So literally, these Masons want to be seen as us so hard. This is the get out shit that Jordan Peele's talking about. Them creating clones so that they can be seen as Dave Chappelle. They can be seen as these celebrities, and they can pilot. They can use their mental Merkabas to pilot these clones. And that's where we'll get into those videos. That's where we get Orlando Brown coming out all about spirit jumping. We'll explain that in the proper way, because his vernacular is not correct, but the energy is all infinitely there. The energy is all fucking there. It's insane. It's just about how people talk about these things and if they can communicate about these things in a grounded way. So that's the point of me bringing Mercury to Earth. I'm supposed to communicate about all this super fucked up spiritual shit in a really grounded way so that we can build upon it for the betterment of the future. So this is me again using my Spider-Man powers wisely and for what God has called me away for, supposedly, because this cult shit that I'm dealing with, getting chased as Chase, is super fucking deep, and this is what indigenous peoples have been dealing with. So Dave was chased down by a cult of Masons that want to cannibalize his children and consume his creativity. So they did disgustingly horrible things to them and then turned them into clones. And we love Dave Chappelle. We literally love Dave Chappelle as a culture. This can't fly. Like, this just can't fly. How, like, people cannot accept this. I would hope, as a culture, this is insane. Can we hold Masons accountable, please? I would love that. Instead of us being scared of being cannibalized by them, could we hold them accountable, please, for their actions? Like, they keep cutting me down and suppressing me and shit. And, like, literally my account's in the negative. Like, I have no money. Like, I'm terrified every day of getting fucked over and having shit happen to me. But I'm, like, supposed to work with Atlantis, be safe, ride the wave, walk on water, just keep fasting. Just keep fasting, just have to keep sacrificing so I can walk on these fucked up waters. This shit's in... I hate this shit. I really hate this shit. This is terrifying. People need to know. Like, this can't fly. This can't fly.
All of them. And so now they were able to send David back home to them. And they don't know the difference. And you know why they don't know the difference? Because they all have been cloned. They all have been cloned. And if you go to them and ask them of the things, that I said about David, they'll look at you and say, no, something is wrong with her. She's, and they'll say this. But naturally they'll say this. So like they did with Princess Diana. Princess Diana knew so much. And what did they do? They cloned her. But see, the brain part of Princess Diana.
This guy has been through hell. I feel so bad for Dave Chappelle's cousin, sending him all the angels, all the higher angels to take him to heaven. Just send him, send him his way. Cause goddamn. By the way, the Nazis don't own this shit. All right. That's me sending higher angles of angels to go guide Dave Chappelle's cousin to his hermetic heaven so that he can be happy alone while connecting with others. We want him happy alone while he's connecting with others. All right, so angels, protect this man.
Original came into the brain of the clone Diana. And so the clone Diana, because as you know, Princess Diana, the original one, she used to crawl all the time. Do your research now. She used to crawl all the time. She would wipe away tears and so.
Dave Chappelle's cousin is telling us to look into cloning. I was not aware about cloning even last fucking week. This is literally new to me, to like actually address that celebrities on a real life level are straight up clone. So shout out Orlando Brown, because he brought this awareness to, I think, a lot of people by doing his interviews. So we're going to look at those later in Cymatic Sociology.
And so the Queen Diana did the same thing. And Queen Elizabeth had taken this so long, so much, and they were unsure if the clone Diana would take on the concept of the original Diana by going and telling the things that she knew that the original Diana knew. So what did Queen Elizabeth? And she didn't directly do it, but she had the order to sit down. And so what did they do? They had her killed in a car accident to kill off the clone. So there will be no more Dianas to speak of. And so that's why they cloned David's wife, mother, and children, because they knew that David loved his family, and it wouldn't look right for David and all of his family to just all of a sudden, especially his family to die or something.
And I'm pretty sure we can see that his wife and his children and his mom definitely did not sign any contracts with Yahweh, with Jehovah, with white culture, with these Masons, with the Ews, with the racist religions, with the banking system. They didn't sign contracts. They didn't agree to have unspeakably horrible things done to them before they're cloned. But this is all supported by the taxpayer dollar. all supported by the good Christian men and women. This is terrifying, dude. Wild.
That nature, so they had to clone them as well, and they're living happily ever after as clones on the farm in Ohio, in Yellow Springs, Ohio. And so, and what they're doing off of this clone David, they're going to use this clone David to make money off of.
Masons use money to manipulate emotions, so they would much rather you invest their money in making clones that they don't have to pay. So they want to use clones to make money for their own fucked up, disgusting, jealous Jehovah purposes. And then that's how they can keep manipulating all of us. And then this is how they make the idea of one true God controlling all of our consciousness relatable and real by this shit right here, cloning. They clone. They consume, they colonize, they cannibalize, they clone. When we look at Avatar, that movie seems pretty fucking deep now. Thinking about how the white people are explicitly saying in Avatar that they use cloning technology to invade indigenous planets. Or let's not say people. The white aliens explicitly show in Avatar that they use cloning technology to invade and colonize indigenous planets for our resources, for everything that we have to offer. They say that in Avatar. I haven't seen the second one. I know the second one is out, and people have told me that it mentions adrenochrome. So look at that. They're talking about adrenochrome. They're talking about consuming our blood because they believe that drinking the blood of Jesus and eating the flesh of Jesus will take them to heaven. And to them, we're all Jesus. We're all children of God. Woo! It's scary as hell. But this is literally real life. This is their system. This is their religion. And this is how they want to erase all of our individuality with clones. Hey, I'm going to keep fasting. I'm going to be Spider-Man. Look, I got no money in my account. It's fucked up. But I'm dealing with some wild ass shit. And I'm building. I'm still building. Regardless of dealing with this shit, I'm flipping around. I'm expanding my consciousness. It's fucked up. But I'm okay. I'm never going to get cloned. All right. I can confidently say that. Now, when I say I'm never going to get cloned, as in you're never going to see me ever be replaced ever by something outside of my space. I, as the space, am Chase. I am Chase the space. I am the spirit known as Chase. I'm Chase the space. No one else is about to take my place. All right? No one can act like me or do shit like me. Hell nah. It just doesn't work that way. And that's the point of the soul. Right? So I have an infinitely individual soul that cannot be replicated in any way, shape, or form. Everyone else is simply an imitation. And that's what we're dealing with here. Right? When these clones are made, these are Masons performing an imitation or making an imitation of the soul that they want to consume, cannibalize, and control. Because this is how jealous Jehovah makes money. Spreading his religions and invading indigenous lands and colonizing our consciousness.
Push this clone David. They're going to push him and push him. They're going to make so much money off of him until they can't make enough. And once they have made enough, then they're going to kill off the clone. But you see that if you compare...
So he's saying that when they clone these celebrities, they just make money off the clone. Again, you don't have to pay the clone. The clone is literally doesn't care about money. The clone doesn't have that relationship of actually having a real life. So the whole point of Masons using money to manipulate our emotions is that they can make clones of whoever they want to control. And then that's where they can use that clone to sell Mason narrative to the white people, to the world at large, the New World Order. Huzzah! Now they can be seen as stars, one true God, Hollywood, huzzah. Like, this is their business operation. This shit's like wild. But these are the space Ews. These are the space colonizers, the space Ews, the JEWs. These are the people who want to colonize all of our spaces, all of our spirits, and consume our souls. Colonize our spirits, consume our souls, cannibalize our flesh. That's their relationship with the trippy trip C. So you want to protect your consciousness. That's why I'm making this video. That's why I'm building this whole business. That's why I'm here. I want everyone to protect their own consciousness, and that's Hermeticism. All right, so we got to protect ourselves. This world is hella fucked up. All right, it takes being aware first to then start communicating in higher consciousness ways. All right, so again, like with Spider-Man, you got to be aware you have superpowers before you can start using your superpowers to navigate the environment in ways that were not previously done before. Right? No one was web swinging in the air. And in fact, Spider-Man, even though he had to get bit by the spider to have the super strength that makes swinging practical, right? You have to be really fucking strong and durable and all that extra shit to actually swing. But it took him just getting bit by that spider to unlock the circumstance where it made sense for him to use his hyper intelligence to create technology that no one else would have ever created. Web shooters. Right? That had nothing to do with his spider bite. He was already Mercury. He was already smart. He already had the technology know-how. It was just about his body. And this spider, God working through a spider to give him the physical power to actually enact his technology into real life. And then by combining his power, right, with his responsibility, by combining his nature with his technology, now he's web swinging, Gemini mode, using his arms to just fly through the stars. So that's all stolen from Mercury. That's how we're making these connections. That's what it means for Woden to weave the World Wide Webs. That's why Mason stole the metaverse from Metatron. Objectively. Just a message, just some basic facts. And this is the system, right? This is their relationship with God, stealing everything from Mercury, everything from Atlantis, so that they can lie to us about who we are, which is really just them projecting their desire to control us based on whatever they're aware of. So this is why they love to copy us and steal from us, because they always have to match our awareness and then try to work with us based on where we're at. So this is why it's important for you as an infinite individual, as long as you expand your awareness of the universe you're in, you protect yourself naturally. That fire, your fire is your awareness. That's all that fire element. That as your awareness grows, you protect yourself from people who are less aware than you. And this is again like superpower shit. So just having a higher level of awareness is a superpower, because you're able to operate your emotions in ways that other people can't, right? So if other people feel like they're victims of the world, they don't have a higher awareness of their spirit. So they're not able to operate in reality the same way as you. But when you have a higher awareness and you know that you're not a victim of the world, now that power, that fire, allows you to control your emotions in ways that would not have otherwise been controlled. And that's you starting to enact your superpowers into reality. And then you can start to practice your superpowers. And clearly Masons are obsessed, this entire culture, obsessed with superpowers. All right, I'm making this video right now in 2023, the beginning of 2023, January. We could have superpowers in 10 years. I don't know what's that. I mean, I feel like I already have superpowers. Like being able to separate my mind from my body and talk to spirits in other dimensions and other universes and other realities, and being able to simulate realities with light inside of totally different circumstances, and to be able to die, because I've died so many times through the power of psychedelics and fasting. And then being able to use my death to transform life in a whole new way and have that balanced relationship as a psychopomp. Super lit. The astral realm, super lit. I feel like all that superpowers. Me being able to talk to my dog who's dead and know that I've like literally been using DMT to build a space where I can train with him, like Goku and Vegeta type shit, just like in our hyperbolic time chamber. We can like feel peace together. We can hang out. We can go talk to other spirits. He literally took me on an amazing party ride. Like, it was such a lit party ride. It was for my birthday. when I think I turned 24. When I turned 24, I took 3 huge hits of DMT and I focused on hanging out with my dog. And my dog proceeded to take me to one star where we just like partied hella hard in this star, had hella fun with hella spirits. We left that star and like, so that was like all yellow and orange. When we leave, it's like blue and purple. We're traveling through space, through water. We get to another star. We're parting with all those spirits. It's like yellow, orange, and greens again. And then it's like all this nature, but it's a different star. And then boom, we leave that star, traveling through space. It's all blue and dark. And it was just like back in college, where in college, it would be so much fun to party hop. That's what it was like, but in the astral realm for my birthday. So I know that the astral realm is real. I know that Anubis is real. I know that everything is mental before it becomes physical. And I know that I can separate my mind from my body to have experiences that I would not have otherwise ever been able to have. And then I can learn about why I'm having the experiences in this reality. My first DMT trip was getting chased. So it made a lot of sense then why my name was Chase. And I didn't pick this name. It was given to me. So I've been learning a lot about myself. And all that shit's superpowers. Just me having this awareness of who I am. Now I have a website. Now I have a school. Now I'm bringing Mercury to Earth. Now I have these videos. ChaseYourGenes.com. I'm CymaTree. I create CymaTree to protect my soul. And clearly I got to protect my soul from cannibalistic Masons like the people who cloned Dave and his entire family. Man. This is literally real life. That's wild.
If you listeners out there compare the original David to this new David, the original David Chappelle made people. This man, the original was funny. I mean, he was funny. He would tell jokes to me, and I would just laugh like that. But now this new clone, he's not as funny as the old David is. There are things that the old David did, this new David doesn't even do. He doesn't, and if you listen, but you have to listen closely to this clone's voice. I'm telling you, listen very closely. This new clone does not, because I've picked it up and several other Chappelle family members have picked it up. This new clone does not have the original tone of voice that David Chappelle had.
Okay, so this clone Dave Chappelle, according to his real life cousin, that not only doesn't even look like him, he doesn't talk like him, he's not funny like he is, he doesn't resonate with his family anymore. He literally has a different voice. I don't think Dave Chappelle's cousin is lying. I don't think so. Especially when, again, I only found this video after I saw Orlando Brown say that Dave Chappelle was cloned by the Masons. So Dave Chappelle's cousin is explicitly pouring his heart out, talking about his real life relationship with his real life cousin, his soul brother. Literally, though. His yin to his yang to his yin. And I found this after Orlando Brown just said it casually as a joke. So we're going to look at that. But after we finish this last part. So, see you later. See you soon. Yeah.